Hey, Coach.
How we doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Yeah, you guys can take a picture of it. Tweet it out. Please do. You want me to stand up? Softy, you want to take a picture with me up here?
A selfie?
Yeah, I know. All right, you guys ready? Yeah, I think there's two good teams playing football, and again, congratulations to Oregon. We knew it was going to be a hard-fought game. They're a good team. Coach Cristobal's done a nice job down there, and they did what they needed to do. With that being said, I can't tell you, the passion that we have for our guys, how hard they prepare, how hard they play, how they just keep, playing the game. It's the way it's meant to be played, and we're just proud of these guys. I just like being around them, like coaching them. Now, with that being said, yesterday, today, these are hard days. I mean, when you lay it on the line like that and don't get it done and come up a play or two short, it's painful, and it should be painful, and it is. But you put the tape on, and there's just, they play hard and they know what they're doing, and it comes down to details here and there. And if we can keep practicing like we've been practicing and take those lessons from the game, when this thing's all said and done, I think we'll feel good about ourselves.
When you looked at the game and when you're there on the sidelines, it felt almost like the game was a little choppy. It was like both teams felt multiple times like they were ready to grab momentum, but there was no big momentum shift.
Yeah.
Did you feel that a little bit?
A little bit, and I think that's kind of how it goes. I mean, I think you got two pretty good defenses. They're not going to let you, get into a true rhythm. At times, they did. They drove the field on us, and, we did that a little bit, but then, they hit you with a 3 and out. And I think that's kind of what happens when you're playing pretty good teams. It's hard to get into, a really good rhythm and stay on the field and all those type of things. So they did that. I mean, I think the third down percentages by both offenses were okay, but still it was, like you said, a little bit choppy.
First quarter took forever, didn't it?
I didn't really know. I mean, I think the games always take forever, with all the TV timeouts and all that stuff. And
Where'd you get the shirt?
Well, our friend John Gordon. And I saw it last night when I went home, and I said, actually, I had it yesterday, and I had it on, and just for myself. And then this morning he texted me, and I was planning on wearing it anyways, and I said, because he told me in the summertime, he goes, you could probably use this in the job you have, and I said, yeah, I probably use about 25 of these just to keep recycling them every day.
How much do you kid yourself over maybe not moving the ball a little bit further?
Well, I do think this, I think, hindsight, if I know now what I, knew then, so to speak, I really felt like we were in great shape. I think with 2 timeouts, probably, I mean, I tell our guys this all the time, our players, like we're all in this together. And the first guys that we second guess and nitpick to death is ourselves as coaches. There's no harder critic. There's no every single game. You guys, even when it goes good, like we go back, we'll watch the tape 4 and 5 times from everything we can think of, like how do we help these guys be in a better situation, and was this the right thing to do? And so at that time, we really felt good about where we were. And so, but with 2 timeouts, I probably would have called timeout, discussed with Bush if he had a play that he really liked, Now, with that being said, you're not going to call timeout and not run a play. So you're probably going to run a play, get Peyton a little bit closer, make him just feel more comfortable. But it was all extremely calculated. We kicked into the wind into the third quarter, knowing we wanted the wind in the fourth quarter, that it could come down to this. And so the leg strength and all that, not even kind of an issue from where the ball was. We've practiced that exact situation for probably the last 8 weeks. That hash, that situation, calling timeout. Now, the games are different than practice, like we always say. So we really did. I mean, I think everybody, on our sideline thought we'd get that done. But, for me to have a do-over knowing what I know now, to get the ball a little closer for him, yeah.
Weren't you in that situation, and we're second-guessing everything? Your playbook shrinks quite a bit. You're not going to do a straight drop back and throw it in the end zone 3 times. There's things you're not going to do, right?
Yeah.
And you don't want to get a hold, and you got all that going, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's no question. I mean, we're not even, I'm not wearing this shirt. We're having different conversations. We know that, but it is what it is. And so you kind of like where you are, and you feel like you have a really good chance to make it from everything we've seen in practice for a long period of time now. And you do what you think is right and what is best, But yeah, we're not going to take a shot in the end zone at that situation to chance that ball getting picked off, to getting knocked back out of field goal range or something like that. And we're also exactly where we want to be hash-wise. But all that being said, would you like to be I think it makes the kicker feel a little more comfortable if he's a little bit closer.
How are your conversations with him after a game like with Peyton?
Good. I told him way back when, I'm like, you got a nice leg, and you just keep working like you're working. You're going to do some really good things. And, all you want them to do is, just keep working and be all in and lock in and put their best they got. And sometimes it happens and sometimes it doesn't.
What's the final analysis on the very last play, Oregon's touchdown, the run up the middle?
Yeah. They did a nice job. That's a hard play to stop, and we had a couple guys that were close there and kind of got knocked out of gaps, and they probably ran that play, 25 times during the game, and those backs got a great feel of where to crease it and where to go, and I think our line was moving a little bit anyways, and kind of out of the gap a little bit.
When you have a real high drama moment like that.
What's that?
When you have a real high drama moment like that, when everything's on the line and everything's ready to go, and then they call a timeout. In your experience, do you second guess what you try to do, or you still kind of try to read and react? I mean, what was kind of the thought?
I mean, I just really felt like it was. And, I think Peyton would say, I think it was super makeable,
Okay, I'm talking about the touchdown run, the Oregon run. Oh. When they called timeout, after seeing what they saw, they called timeout, and I was kind of curious what your guys' thought process on the sideline was, thinking, okay, do we...
You talking about the last play that they scored? Yeah. There's a bunch of different ways they can go. You figure they're going to try to run the ball, and I actually thought they were probably going to run that play. They'd run it so many times, it was so effective for them, and to get 1 yard, and they ended up getting more than 1 yard. That crease is pretty good.
On their 3rd and 11 conversion there in overtime.
Yeah.
Hindsight, something is that you'd like to be a little more aggressive there instead of rushing 3, or
it's the same thing. And then you blitz them, and Herbert sets his feet, and you go in one-on-one coverage, and so, it's a cat-mouse game the whole time. I just really think that. We're aggressive. We put pressure on the quarterback most times, and you're just trying to mix things up and do what you think is best.
With only 1 sack in the game, how do you view the just pass rush in general?
Yeah, we'd like to get more, without question. Now, I do think that we were getting there. We were around him. We were hitting him, and so sometimes it's not going to always show up as sacks. But I think that's a big part of the game on defense. If you can get turnovers and get to that quarterback and knock him back, but he's a hard guy to get hold of. He's elusive and he's strong and he gets it out quick. Their line does a good job, and so it's a little bit of that back and forth game.
For the most part, there was a number of times throughout the game where look, he had plenty of time, big, strong kid, big, strong arm, and he ended up throwing them away, or he couldn't find a
Yeah.
receiver.
Yeah.
You feel pretty good about the DBs and the performance there, because there were some long-time coverages, it looked like.
I thought we did a good job against an excellent quarterback. You know, that guy he's a big time thrower, and he can run, and you know, I thought we did a really solid job against a really, really good player. I mean, you know, I think our defense played well against him. You know, I mean, I think it was, you know, I really do think it's two good teams going at it. That came down to, you know, we had other chances. I mean, I'm as like I know you guys want to spend time talking about that, but we could talk about the 4th and 1 that we didn't get. You know, on the kind of going hurry up. We could talk about getting down there in overtime to the 6-yard line with a fresh set of downs, and we end up kicking a field goal. And you know, Peyton's awesome. You know, I mean, I know it's shorter, but doesn't flinch, goes in there, and you know, we knew he'd make that. And you know, we can go on and on, even backtracking. Now, with that being said, I mean, there's so many good plays that, you know, whatever, good plays, right? I mean, it's about winning the game or not winning the game. But I mean, I couldn't be more proud of, you know, Jake Browning. You know, second play has a bad throw, and then just locks in and plays nails and makes big time throws and does his deal. And I mean, that's hard. You know, you get off to a rocky start, just a short memory, and away we go. And I think Drew Sample, you know, made some tough catches, and you know, just those guys playing hard, and our guys on defense too. I mean, Ben Burke-Kirven, I mean, that guy needs a cape. You know, I mean, he's something else. And Taylor Rapp, I mean, he's as good as they come. And you know, we can just go on and on. Man, when you put that tape on, you watch these kids play, you're like, it's impressive football going on.
Was there any thought at all on when Oregon got the ball to make it 3rd and 11, of declining that, putting them in 4th down in that situation?
No, 4th and 1?
Yeah.
No. I mean, I like our chances a lot better on I mean, just percentages. I mean, that's a run team. They can get, I don't think they've ever stopped 4th, not getting 1 yard ever. You know, I mean, that's just a thought. Now, could we knock them back? Maybe, but there was no thought of that.
Going back to you mentioned your 4th and 1 call.
Yeah.
Can you talk about the mechanics of that with the officials? Because I've seen earlier in the season where you guys have tried to muddle huddle and go quick, and
Yeah.
the officials are holding you guys back,
Yeah.
assumingly for substitution
Yeah.
and the like. I mean, how do you kind of try to figure all that out?
Yeah, I don't know. I just, you know, the noise was so loud for us to go there. I mean, yeah, I don't want to get some, you know, I mean, there's some close to being offside. I mean, there was a few things there that, but, you know, those are just one of those things that you just like to have a do-over on that.
When you saw that kind of developing and you saw them holding back, and because like I said, I know Jake has tried to literally like get out of the way to the ref so you can get on and.
They shouldn't hold us like that. I mean, we're in the huddle, we stay in there so they can match, you know, the personnel when you come in there, and then away we go. But, you know, there's a lot of different little factors there that you'd probably like to, you know, have that one back.
Do you remember at any time were you thinking about maybe calling a timeout because of the severity of that play?
It goes so fast, you know, we had the play and we were going to come out of the huddle quickly, and, you know, I was more probably concerned with the noise at that point, going on that cadence and all those things, than anything else.
Offensive line, did it take another step Saturday, you think?
I think they played, you know, it's a good run defense, and we run the ball, and, you know, I don't know about, you know, another step. I mean, I think they played hard. I think they played well. Did we like progress and go, okay, this is the next step? As a group, you know, I don't know. You know, there's a couple guys in there that battled pretty darn hard. They all battled, but, you know, I thought Nick Harris had a pretty good game. And, but I still think we got more to us. You know, we do. I think they'd all say that.
Is there any instruction you can give to Jalen Johnson to avoid that?
You know, that's a good question. This is what I think about that. You know, I'm just always trying to think like, okay, what's the next step? And you can talk about stuff all you want. Like, you know, I must say details a million times. That does nothing. You know, you have to practice that way. And so I'm going to say this, and I still think it kind of means nothing because you'd have to practice this way. But I think you have to play this game like you don't have a helmet on. I don't see guys doing that. It's just, and I think, there's going to be a small percentage that, there's those bang plays that you'd probably lose some teeth and all those type of things if you didn't have a helmet on. But I think it's just got to be that thing now. It's hard to do that because you do have a helmet on and it's not the same reaction of, taking your head completely out of it, because those are hard ones. I mean, Jalen turns around, he's running and he turns around, the quarterback runs right back into him. And so we've seen that a few times, this summer or this season. And so how do you coach that? And so you're trying to think, and that's really all I can say is if your head's involved there, it's risky business.
There's been a lot of talk about, as the targeting rule evolves, maybe they add some sort of element of intent to the review process of, okay, well, did this guy was he really targeting the head? Was he really trying to make a dangerous play here? Would you just in general terms for football, for safety and all those things, do you want that play called a penalty and that guy ejected in general?
I think that play was really critical to that whole game. I really do. Because we had him and then it gave him a first down. With all that being said, I do want that called. I think that's good for the game of football. I think there's no messing around in college football. And it's painful because, there was no intent. We all know that. It was bang, it just happened. But, we're trying to do the best we can for this game and these kids. And so, there's so much less gray area than it used to be when we started this, and a lot of complaining and a lot of that. And it's just not. It is what it is. We're trying to take the head out of the game.
You mentioned what you just said there is interesting about playing like you're not wearing a helmet. Have you ever done that in practice? Say, let's go out there and just not wear helmets and just...
Yeah, we tackle with no helmets. Yeah, we do that. So we do some of that stuff, but to get the real reps, playing 100% and is it a full speed? No, we don't do that. That's probably not safe to practice like that. But, I think all coaches are still trying to evolve and figure out the best way to, take the next step. I think we've made really big progress in the last handful of years with this whole thing, but, how do we take the next step?
Do you think it's just kind of follow up what Christian said? He said you're okay with that being a part of the game. You want it. What about the suspension?
I want the kids to be safe. There's nothing.
What about the suspension portion? Missing the first half of the game?
I think I've always thought that's really hard, and it feels different when a kid gets thrown out in the game and they can come back the next game as opposed to has to sit the whole first half in the locker room, and that doesn't seem the same to me. But yeah.
You ended up, and maybe you're prepared for that, but your number 3 and 4 tailbacks played a big role for a long time. What do you talk about that a little bit?
Well, that's how it is at this time of the season, whether it's the tailbacks and, Miles has, been such a workhorse and he's just so durable. And, but, in this game, there's going to be times when you can't go with your first guys, and especially at that position. I've said this, a million times, you have to have a handful of good tailbacks because that position just takes too much pounding. And so that's kind of what went on, and the next guys have been practicing their tails off, and they went and did a nice job.
So that has to be, because that's a singular position, basically, and now it's one thing to have your backup, but you go 3 and 4 deep.
Yeah.
That's got to be a big part of your practice plan, right?
There's no doubt. And it's hard, to get all the guys, when you start going that deep, to get them truly the quality reps. And so that's why, again, your hat's off even more to those kids, but I do think we do a good job in practice of getting those guys reps and building skill, and it's been going on for a long time. And, over time, if you practice the right way, your time, we keep telling you your time's going to come. A lot of times it's not on your timetable, but you hang in there and you be persistent, you keep doing it right, your time will come.
I agree. Coach Bonaparte said that he saw a lot of change in Sean over the past year or so. Is that kind of part of it, with he's kind of had to wait his turn and earn his reps?
Yeah, I think he's done a really nice job of. It's hard. These kids are competitive. They're all really good players, and they've done great things in high school. And to come here and have to wait your turn, and But like I said, the cream will rise to the top, and sometimes it's not on our timetable. But if you just stick to the the process. I just really believe that it'll work out how it's supposed to.
Any update on Miles and Savon coming out of that game?
I mean, both those guys are, I'd say they're week to week. I mean, they're not, any of that. But those running backs take a lot of pounding.
How about Jordan Miller?
Yeah, I'd say he's the same. I mean, he's, it's that time of the season is really what it is. And the only guy that we do have long-term that's not going to play any more football for us this year will be Quentin Pounds. He hurt his knee again, and so he won't play any more for us this year.
Was that the injury at the UCLA game?
Yeah.
Miles and Savon kept on going back in the game. Were they just lobbying to how good?
Well, yeah, they're tough guys, and it's that fine line between you can really go and help us, and is the guy standing next to you can help us more, and so they were both doing what they could do.
This is another game where you had one with 4 and then a lot of people with 2, 2, 2, and 1. How do you evaluate getting another second receiver or third receiver with more reps instead of just having one main and then a few others kind of just having 1 or 2 catches?
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like you always have that. I think every team kind of has that. I like it when it's spread around and you got a bunch of guys with equal catches. The more the merrier, the harder to defend, but sometimes it just works out that way.
Being basically a first down machine this year, how much have you seen him grow over these first few games this year?
Yeah, Ty's been great, and we've said this all along. I mean, last year he didn't, have a bunch of catches, but he was awesome. You just knew his time was coming very soon because of how hard he showed, how hard he practiced, and just his attitude. I mean, you can just feel these things from guys. You just know. You've been coaching long enough. Like that guy keeps doing what he's doing with that focus and that determination. With the God-given tools he already has, I mean, it's going to be a short amount of time before he does some really good things, and Ty's been that guy.
Is there anything that, when you looked at the tape, where it kind of jumped out at you that Oregon's defense really took this away from us, or they were really focused on taking some aspect away of your offense?
They certainly tweaked some things, without question. I mean, that time off helped them. And, I say this everybody's got 85 scholarship with some pretty good players, and everybody's got some pretty good coaches, and, you give them time, they can figure out what you do well and have time to get we know a lot of things, like how to stop things, but that's not the important thing. Can you get your kids to do this in this short amount of time? And, having a little more time, they did a nice job with some adjustments.
But you're not going to share any details of what those things were.
Well, I mean, it would be very, coaching details in terms of some stuff that they had done and some stuff that they had changed. And, like I said, we get that every week, though. I mean, people are who they are, but there's always game plan adjustments. And then you're adjusting during the game to say, you know what, this is different than it was last year or last week that they had shown. And certainly when you're facing a team with a bye, there's going to be probably a few more adjustments than there normally are.
Chris, you mentioned first and goal for 6 and not getting a touchdown there. Sorry. I think the first down of that play was the Wildcat with Sean.
Yep.
And Savon kind of was did you see an opportunity there, or was that executed properly?
No, it was the right thing. Sometimes they read it, sometimes they don't. We did the right thing. And, it's tough sledding down there, but, I think we had the ball in the 6. And, you'd like to score touchdowns, not kick field goals.
We've been here for 20 minutes, I haven't talked about Colorado.
Let's go. That's a good football team.
I mean, who knows if Chanel plays, but what kind of problem is this guy?
Yeah, he's an excellent player. He's one of the better players in this league, without question. I mean, they move him all around. Smart. I mean, good coaches over in Colorado as well. They just find different ways to get him the ball, and he is hard to tackle. He's big. He's 6'2", 220, so he's a big, strong, elusive guy, and he's one of the better players in the conference, without a doubt.
Chris, what went into the decision to play Kyler Gordon?
Yeah, just kind of that kind of time in the season where you could use some fresh legs out there running around, get him a little experience. Been practicing really hard, and so we've kind of looked at a couple games, as we've gotten deeper into the season, and I think each coach is a little bit different how they want to approach this and, help their group. And so that was one of the games that, a couple weeks out, we said this might be a good time, just looking at the schedule and the wear and tear on our guys to get them involved.
Is still on the 4-game track, or could he eventually play the whole season?
We'll see. But yeah, I think we're still thinking, 4 games, but things can still change rapidly.
And also, I noticed that Thule and Sam Taimani, Taki, both traveled.
Yep.
Was there a thought that they were going to play?
They're still kind of on that 4-game progression, situation.
Been for you just to have the 4 games this year where you can play freshmen without having to worry about the red shirt, and just when you see the development, how much does that help so far?
I think it's a good thing. I think all coaches think that. I think it keeps the guys, they do a lot of scout work, but they do get some reps with, the travel squad, and I think it keeps them motivated, and it does give us a peace of mind that, we can use some of these guys and not have to, use a year super late.
And on those on the kick coverage early in the first half, was that just Oregon on the return team or missed?
A little bit of both, missed a couple tackles, a couple guys got out of their lanes, and they got a really fast, pretty good returner. So it's kind of a combination of all those things.
Halfway through the season, do you have a feel about the new kickoff rules and how they've been implemented?
Seems to be having an effect, without question. I don't think you're seeing nearly as many. I think that's kind of my main impression of it, yeah.
Good. All right.
Okay.
Gonna get Kelly to buy you dinner for helping with this coming out party.
What's that?
I watched that game. You watched the UCLA game?
Oh, no, I didn't see it.